Hi everyone, welcome to Tim Talks. I'm Tim Bucher of Trattore Farms, and this week is part one of the history of Trattore Farms. So a lot of people ask me, hey, when did you buy this olive company and this winery and these vineyards? And the truth is, we bought raw land many decades ago. But even prior to that, when I was young, at about 16 years old, my siblings and I bought a little 2-acre vineyard, which is literally about a mile from where I'm at right now by the Crow's Flight, right over here in Dry Creek Valley. And that's when I learned a lot about growing grapes and making wine. Yes, I might have been underage when I made my first wine. And it was actually French Colombard, a white wine, a sweet white wine at that. So years later, when I was married, my wife and I, we heard about a piece of land that was becoming available. And so we were put in contact with the couples that owned it, and we met them at a Denny's restaurant in Novato, California. And literally, we did a deal at Denny's for this land. And this land had nothing on it. It was no power, no water, no vineyards. It was just all manzanita brush and trees. So that was the beginning of Trattore Farms. And the vision we had was to clear the land for vineyards and start establishing, grape growing operation focused on Rhone varietals, because I fell in love with them at an even earlier age. And one of the great things about getting land is that you get to have tractors. And so initially we rented some backhoes and other things, and the whole family got into it. Our children started when they were very young, helping us clear the land, make big burn piles. And in the process of clearing the land, we actually did run into some old olive trees, some of which were from the 1800s, and they were completely engulfed in manzanita brush with very little foliage on them. So we cleared them out and brought them back, and we decided to, in addition to growing grapes, to also grow olives. So, the first thing you do when you plant vineyards is you have to put in a lot of infrastructure. And boy, did we have to put in a lot of infrastructure, a lot of plumbing. I don't know exactly how many miles of PVC pipe and other kinds of plumbing and electrical conduits and whatnot we have here, but I would bet it's tens of miles, if not hundreds. And so we had to dig lots of ditches, plan out everything, get the permits, of course, and that was how we started to build. We focused on the vineyards first. And then the first real building that we built was what we call today the Red Barn. And it's where we knew we wanted a barn to store, the products that we would be making, and also to store our tractors. By the way, early on, after renting tractors for a little bit, I decided it was time to get my own tractor, and so I got a beautiful brand new John Deere, which was my first new tractor ever. I'd had used tractors before, lots of really old tractors. But I remember that was a big day for me. And that little tractor we still have to this day, and it's used almost every day here on the ranch. It's one of our main workhorses here. But anyway, this building that we built, again, we call it the Red Barn. We now house our finished goods in there, and we actually have a guest house up above it. We didn't plan for it to be a guest house because at the beginning, when we came here to work on the ranch, we actually stayed in a trailer. So we had a trailer. So the kids grew up in a trailer. Yeah, that's not a good thing that they want to tell their friends, I guess. But that was our first building. It was beautiful, and from there, I actually bought a 1972 Ford dump truck, big diesel dump truck, and it was old. And I also bought an old excavator and an old skid steer because I wanted to dig a cellar. And so we got the permits for the winery building, and it took a couple years because I was doing it myself, but basically dug the entire cellar out of the winery and started to create the cellar and then the building on top of that. And that's the winery that we have today, where it has all of our winemaking operations, as well as all of our tasting room and outdoor seating, our commercial kitchen, and of course our offices for our whole team. Then we built a house, and then we built an olive center, and we'll talk more about that in the next Tim Talk. So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the history of Trattore Farms. We like to say, built from the ground up. with lots of blood, sweat, and tears. And we did it because we really wanted to create something special for folks like you to come and visit and experience and really call your own. Make it your own place and create that sense of place. So really appreciate all the support from everyone. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. So with that, I'll say farewell. Bye-bye, everyone.